Means the importance of a little kindness. A lot of people are going through tough times in life. The troubles of their lives are overwhelming them, and that is the reason some who could not bear it anymore chose to commit suicide as an exit route from pains, sorrow and anguish. Today's story is titled, The Broken Wall of Difference, a story of love and kindness. Take a listen and watch it to the end. It was my first experience after nearly 1 year of stability. That was the day our bath bucket fell off from my firm grip. I was struck dead by the realization that the rest of mine I had enjoyed has abruptly come to an end. For days I remained preoccupied with the thought of what to do. Uncle Bello had traveled to Mecca on pilgrimage. He alone was my help. I had no other, nor did I foresee another coming. Why has the inhaler suddenly stopped working at such a time as this? I asked myself dejectedly. Before I got the inhaler, I had wrestled death for 3 helpless years until Uncle Bello visited. He armed me with an inhaler. Prior to this time, I had remained ignorant of my predicament for too long and was often bruised by death. I knew that something was wrong with me. But to whom would I make my complaint? There were many mouths to be fed in my family on a daily basis. Feeding was core necessity, it was as if we lived to eat. Consequently, to fall beyond the attention of neighborhood drugstores was a tall order. One would be asking for too much. I was 14 when I discovered that something was wrong with me. At first, people thought I was epileptic. They always avoided me each time I was suddenly knocked down and falling unwillingly. Like a child convulsing, I would choke and gasp for common oxygen. I would fall to the ground unrestricted. I was a reproach to my mother and siblings. Gradually, I started losing my friends. They were afraid of associating with me. I had become a single story. Hassan told me that they said I would infect them with my sickness if they did not maintain a distance. I stayed indoors most times. I would not want what happened on graduation day to repeat itself. That day remains my greatest moment of bitterness. The graduation ceremony had been very lively for all, especially for those of us moving to the final class as senior students. The drama, debate, and choreography presentation were well received with all elation. I was happy like every other student in the multipurpose hall. We were enveloped by the cheerful atmosphere of merriment and joy. That happiness was short-lived, it did not follow me home. I only remembered that I was given a plate of jollof rice and a bottle of Coke. I later regained consciousness in a classroom. I stood up sadly only to discover that my well-starched brocade garment was in a big mess. My gentlemanly appearance had lost its elegance. Below my abdomen was a big visible oily stain. The plate of rice had tumbled on me in that unguarded hour. Worse still, my back was covered with a long brown wet stain. I checked myself to know if I was wet from the inside. I later realized that the bottle of Coke did not spare me as well. I was ashamed of myself. I left for home humiliated. 3 days later, Uncle Bello visited us. He learned of my abnormality and was touched. "Your boy has asthma," the doctor told Uncle Bello after a series of diagnoses at General Hospital, Wuse Zone 3. The doctor turned to me and said, "You will be given an inhaler. You are to use it each time you feel the sudden sensation of attack." He told me to carry the inhaler with me wherever I go. "Are there things he must avoid?" Uncle Bello asked. "You must stay away from stuffy environment as well as places that are smoky, dusty, and from the kitchen whenever oil or onion is on fire. At the end of 3 months you are to come for a replacement," he concluded. "Hamza, please abide by the doctor's instructions. The inhaler would go a long way to helping you manage your health condition." Uncle Bello obliged me as we left the hospital. From then on, my life changed. I was never disgraced for a year. Uncle Bello was always there for me each time I needed a replacement until I developed financial muscle after I left school. The inhaler had remained a great help in time of need until recently. I had reason to go and take my bath when the sensation crept in. I took my antidote as usual, but it was in vain. The bucket of water I was carrying to the bathroom disengaged itself from my firm grip, spilling its entire content on the ground, and on it I laid overpowered by invisible hands. I was hurriedly carried into the room to save my face from self-pity. When I resuscitated, I felt like lynching myself. Vexation took a greater part of me. I was furiously embittered. Very early the next day I left to seek my physician. "Doctor, this inhaler is not working," I said tearfully. "You have to undergo another set of diagnosis. It is possible that your asthma has taken a different dimension and needs a different category of inhaler," the doctor announced. That morning, I joined the queue of invalid men and women seeking better life. The test licked up the entire cash I had on me. Sorrowfully, I walked out of the hospital. I had neither transportation fare nor the money for the new inhaler. I was a blind bat on the pedestrian walkway. How do I go home from here? I reasoned. Begging was the last resort. It was a very degrading thing to do. I thought of something more honorable to do to save myself of the humiliation of being turned down. In my absent-mindedness, I trampled on half-eaten egg roll. It was as I bent down to clean the mess that I discovered the honorable thing to do. From a distance I sighted a group of young men who specialize in the repairs of generator. I discerned that they must be of my age. I looked at the pair of shoes sluggishly and walked up to them. Expectantly. Few steps from them I developed cold feet. Fear gripped me. I discovered that they were not of my stock. The recent upheaval in the country is good enough for them to fling my request to the garbage of prejudice. To save myself from shame and hate talk, I sorrowfully stopped abruptly and made to return when one of them noticed me. "Hello. I thought you were coming to meet us. Do you have generator?" "I can fix it," he said anxiously. I later came to know him as Uche. My next action was a complete melodrama to them. With shoes in my hands, I knelt down like a hapless widow and in a pitiable waterlogged voice I narrated the uncomely circumstance that mortgaged my life. "My father is late, and Uncle Bello traveled to Mecca for pilgrimage. I am asthmatic and not sure of surviving the next daybreak. Please buy my shoe for my life's sake," I pleaded. "Aboki, I am very sorry. As you can see, we are just common mechanics." Emma was yet to complete the sentence when Benga interrupted him. "Aboki, you are disturbing us, go there." He pointed me to the opposite side of the road where fairly used cars were sold. "Meet Alhajis, that will help you." "No time for your supper story," he concluded angrily. Benga's unsympathetic comment was followed with fierce rebuke from Uche. "Aboki, please stand up," Uche said, patting me on my shoulder. "Benga, what is wrong with you?" he queried. "Do you have conscience at all? This young man is suffering asthma and is between life and death. Just imagine that you are in his condition, a helpless condition." It was his word and the mucus gushing out lazily alongside the tears of sorrow that unlocked the fetters of hate that bound their hearts. "How much is the inhaler?" Uche asked quietly. The old one was 3,000 naira. I quickly snatched it out from my pocket. "This is the old one. It is no longer working. The new one is 5,000 naira. In appreciation. How could I express my joy but to grab Benga for a hug? The other three boys were moved by Benga's supreme act of kindness. The day your enemy shows you love marks a turning point in your troubled life. They all gave a cash note of 500 naira each. I had just concluded exchanging handshakes with them when he arrived. "I am Yugong, a corps member," he introduced himself. "I have been listening to the entire conversation from that eatery. I am extremely impressed by your unconditional and humane display of neighborliness." Silently, he fished out 2 clean mint of 1,000 naira notes from his wallet and handed them to me. I stood transfixed. Tears were rolling down in an unbroken succession. Aboki stopped crying. Benga came close to console me. Go and get the inhaler. Kopa, thank you, I said amid tears. I thanked them and returned to the hospital. What we have done today would remain indelible in the mind of this young man. We have broken the wall of difference. I overheard Kopa telling the other boys as I walked back to the hospital. My name is Hamza. I'm not a terrorist. Hope you enjoyed the story of Hamza's struggle with asthma. It took him receiving the support of others to give him a chance to live for more days. Wherever you are and whatever you are doing, make it a point of duty to show a little kindness to those who come to you for it. Discrimination takes us nowhere. Geography has made us siblings. For more interesting stories from African Storybox, I encourage you to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to hit the notification button for updates. Thank you for watching.